Hi, welcome back to the Truly Kenya podcast. Do I look like a world traveler? I've just gotten back from London and Paris, and I want to tell you guys all about my trip. Let me tell you first, I do want to, uh, first of all, let me say welcome. Thank you for listening to the Truly Kenya podcast, whether you're watching us on YouTube or you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Please like us on both and subscribe if you're on YouTube. So I am back. Um, it's been I've been back for about 4 days. And I think it's starting to catch up with me. Flew back from London to Ohio to then fly into California to fly back to, wait, is that right? Yes, to fly back to Ohio, to fly back to California, to then fly to Southern California. So, needless to say, I haven't really slept. So, and I get a little silly. So this is probably going to be a shit show. Okay. I've had 6 hours and I got that last night of sleeping. Other than that, I haven't slept. So it's been a crazy last 4 days, but our vacation was fantastic. I am starving and I did have to like literally, I brought home 7 pounds, okay, from my vacation. 7 pounds of sugar and butter. I had so much fun, but this morning I did have to jump into this bodysuit. There's a lot of tears, there's a lot of cursing, but she's on. And I try to change. I have 4 interviews today, or 3 interviews, and I try to change my clothes like most shows do between your interviews, so it looks fresh. I will not be changing this bodysuit. This bodysuit got one more interview left in it. I'm going to put something over it, but this bodysuit is going to stay on. All right. Now, um, I'm trying to put my hair in front of it because I'm not sure if you can see my nipples or anything. I did put like a nipple cover over it, but even if you can, I don't know if I can right now. I'm so tired. So if you can, and if it bothers you, close your eyes or turn us off or go listen to us. Don't watch us. But hello, hello. Okay, so let me tell you guys about my trip. So now we were gone 8 days. 240 hours. I know you mathematicians are saying, Kenya, 8 days is not 8 days is not 240, but I've taken the liberty to add a couple of days because I had some travel days with Kennedy trying to get this passport. I was so focused on the big things like where we're gonna stay, our transportation, our airline tickets. My passport I knew was good, and I assumed her passport was good. But she just happened. She has a new internship. Tuesday, we're leaving on a Thursday. No, is that right? We're leaving on a Monday. So Tuesday, she comes in and she says, hey, I need my passport for my paperwork for my internship. Okay. Tell her where it is. She goes to get it. She looks at it. The passport is expired, has been expired since 2021. So here we are a few days before leaving, and I'm like, she kind of is stressing. So I cannot stress. All my stress has to remain inside, like internal. So I'm like, okay, all right, let's figure it out. But while she's stressing, she does reach out to Rylan, and we're googling, try to how do we make this happen, because you can no longer just walk into a passport place. You have to have an appointment. So what they're trying to kind of figure out on their end, I'm constantly calling the passport office. It's 1-800 number for all the governmental passport agencies across the country. I'm calling. I'm constantly getting this voicemail like, "Hey, we're busy." Calls back basically. We're busy. And so we realized this at like 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'm calling. We found a company that can expedite, but even if they expedite it, she wouldn't get it until Thursday. We're supposed to leave on Monday. Um, so I'm still calling. Even though they're busy, I just said, listen, dear God, if you could please offer us some grace. Let us get an appointment. I was always thinking the appointment would be in San Francisco. Um, I would be really grateful. And if it's not met, then it's not met. I'm still grateful. I kept calling, kept calling. And then in that 11 o'clock hour, I call and I get the nicest guy who answers the passport phone. So he's like, "Oh yeah, we have Atlanta, Georgia, tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh." As I'm thinking about, do I want to fly to Atlanta to try to get this passport or not? The appointment is gone. Okay. So then he says, "Okay, one just came up in Colorado. Do you want to do that?" And I was like, I don't think so." Uh, and then as we are ending, and he was like, "It's okay." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I can't even believe I'm doing this." He was so nice. He was like, "It happens." He was really like supportive and everything. And then he said, "Okay, one has just come up in Hawaii." I said, I ain't going to Hawaii. That was just a little too much, I thought. And then I'm thinking I should have just took the Colorado one. But okay. And then we're like talking about our families and our trip, and we trying to get out there to see Beyonce for my daughter's 21st birthday and everything. He said, "You know what? Let me just refresh my computer one more time." He refreshes the computer and he gets an appointment for Los Angeles at 8:30. I said, "I'll take it. I'll take it." So he was able to get us that appointment. Look at God. So in my mind, I'm like, "Oh, it's meant. It's meant for us to go." I take everything as signs. So I said, "It's meant for us to go." So we're going. So we road trip it Tuesday night, because I didn't want anything to happen in that morning. So I wanted to be in LA. So we road trip it Tuesday night for our Wednesday morning appointment. We get the appointment. We're in line for 4 hours. I don't even care. I don't care. Although the only thing I did care about is a 5 hour trip, because we just drove. A 5 hour trip took us 6.5, 7. Kennedy has like an old lady bladder. She has to stop like every 2.5 hours to use the bathroom. I was like, when we get back, I'm going to have you tested. I'm going to have you tested for a urinary tract infection. Why are you using the bathroom so much? So she made our ride long, but we did really just have a good time. We get there 4 hours in line. We get the passport. I have all the paperwork. She's already had a passport before. She has her ID. I couldn't find a birth certificate, but she had her previous passport. It was still in good condition, so I was able to use that. And then the super nice lady says, "Come back Friday." I was like, "Oh, no, 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 no. Can we please just get it now? Because I have driven, from Northern California out here." And she was like, "We don't do it like that." I said, "Oh, how do you do it?" She said, "They will give it to you the same day if you are leaving within 24 hours. So in my mind, I'm like, "Oh shit, I wish I would have known that, because I would have just bought her a ticket, like we were going to leave, and just cancel it." You know what I mean? Like, bought the ticket, because you got to give them your travel information, and then just canceled it later. Um, but then maybe it's a good thing I didn't do that. I don't know. Maybe there is some jail time that you can get for that. I don't know. But she said, "Come back on Friday." So I was like, okay, what do you do? I'm just grateful. So I'm still being grateful. Thank you, God, for getting us the appointment. If you want us to come back on Friday, I'm going to come back on Friday. So we get in the car. We drive back home. We do stop at a couple of restaurants and stuff on our way that she really wanted to go to, or she remembered being really good. One was a crepe shop, and that actually was really good. Kennedy got like the creme brulee uh, uh, crepe. I got something super simple, strawberry bananas and Nutella. But so that was good, and it was not far from the passport place. We also went to a soul food restaurant. I'm not going to say the name of it because it was just okay. Um, it was just okay. So but she was nice. It was a young girl. She was nice. So, anyways, so we did that. And then Friday morning, we just schlep it back up there, because your pickup time is from 2 to 5. So we go that same day, got it, no problem. Did I tell you? I just wanted to cry. I was just so grateful. I just wanted to cry. I just was so disappointed that I even had let us have to go through all this. Like, why didn't I even know her passport was going to expire or whatever? So we got the passport. We then fly Sunday night to Cincinnati. We meet her bestie, Rylan, who is going on the trip with us. And Rylan didn't want to see Beyonce. So she didn't see Beyonce, and I didn't get her a ticket. Um, but I was so excited when Rylan was going to come. So they kind of her their birthdays are a few days within each other, and they're both 20 now. But this was like a celebration for her 21st birthday. The whole Beyonce, and if you're gonna go to London and see her, might as well make it a trip. So, and then I was also thinking that, oh, if she has a friend, I can put them in coach and I can fly first class. When I saw how much that first class ticket was, $6,500, I was like, oh, no, no, no. We'll all be in coach. Okay. Because the coach ticket was 1,800, something like that. So we all flew coach. They had seats together. There was not a seat for me, but that's okay. I ended up sitting um I had a great seat, and I was sitting and I met this other guy. He was black. His name is Benedict. And we talked like the whole, I mean, 3 hours. I mean, finally I just had to put my headphones in and said, Benedict, I'm about to watch this movie. I'm gonna talk to you when we land. And it was fine. We flew on British Airways, and I thought all my food choices were good. They were super nice. And it was great. The trip was easy. It was easy in coach. So you don't have to have first class, but if you got to go coach, you should still go. So, anyways, we fly into London. We are all overpacked. My one suitcase is 67 pounds. Kennedy's suitcase is 53 pounds, and you are not allowed two pieces of luggage, which I thought. So we had to pay $100 for all the additional luggage. Rylan had two, and between Kennedy and I, we had three. So we get to London, we get our luggage, and we are schlepping all this damn luggage. I mean, big, not little cute, like big, full on pieces of luggage. And let me tell you something about that hard. Those hard case luggages, was that a word? Or would it be just luggage? The hard case luggage, I don't think luggages is a word. It is 10 pounds within itself. So the 50 pounds of clothing you think you are packing, you don't got 50 pounds. You really only have 40 pounds. So for you guys using that hard, the large, you got to keep that in mind if you are an overpacker. So I've gone back to my soft case. But we're like just rolling this stuff around, and we are doing and when I get off and we get out of the airport, what I realize when I do Uber on this trip, I had over 40 Uber rides. But the cars in Britain are so teeny that they drive. So they did have an XL, which is like a van or whatever. So thank God for that. I wasn't even thinking. We all would have had to take those separate little cars if they didn't have the XL, but they had XL. So we do that. We rented a Airbnb because there were so many of us and we had so much luggage. So many of us. There was three of us. But with the luggage and all, I didn't want to be in like a smaller hotel room. And it was just cheaper for me to get us a 4-bedroom house. And we had so much fun. We were able to stage a dressing room, which is where we left all of the closet, all of the luggage. The Airbnbs were nice. I think I've stayed at one of the best ones in London I've ever stayed at. Let me tell you, this lady had that Airbnb like it was the Ritz Carlton. Okay. Now in London, not so much. But the one, excuse me, not in Paris, but the one in London, she had it together. So, anyways, it's nice. It's near food, it's near shopping. Um, we really don't have many days. So what I knew I wanted to do was a high tea. But I wanted to do a high tea without the fanfare. Like we didn't pack hats because there was no room in the luggage. But I still wanted to have that experience. And we went to the Chelsea Ivy Garden. It was so beautiful, so picturesque, and it was so nice. And we're gonna do some reels and things about the trip. It was really beautiful, and I highly recommend. Everything was delicious. It was so delicious. We were ordering additional sandwiches from the tea that they bring out. It was so cute, so good. All of our food was good. I never had British food. And we didn't have it on this trip. We did like a mid Eastern sort of restaurant we found, which was really good. We did, obviously, I wanted to go to Harrods. We went to Harrods. Um, I didn't, there's like this rooftop garden that has a restaurant that's supposed to be super beautiful, like lovely. Food is good. And I tried to make a reservation, I couldn't get us. So it's one thing not to be overly scheduled, which I hate, but it's another thing to be scheduled for things you want to do, which I totally dropped the ball the whole trip. All right. So we have fun. We then In London, we do see some things. We shop, we eat. These girls had me out every night at every club. So the first couple of nights, I'm dressing cute, I'm dressing apart. You are going to a club. I was never a club girly ever. I am a people watcher though. So I was dressing nice because if they couldn't get in, I didn't want to be the reason because I was looking, my mom house dress or whatever. I don't even own a house dress. But whatever. I just wanted to look like I was supposed to be at the club. So we get to the club, and let me tell you something about these little lushes, Rylan and Kennedy. These girls can drink they asses off. Okay. I thought I would have one little cocktail, I can make it last, I'm with them. So, and I'm not even a drinker, but I'm gonna do one. They order their drinks come in pictures, not a 2 quart, but a 1 quart picture. The kind like if you've ever been to like a pizza place and like Chuck E. Cheese, if you ever been to a party at Chuck E. Cheese, they bring you out these like all scratched up old like clear plastic pitchers. Okay, they have one of those, but a but 1 quart, and it was halfway. I was like, and I got this little bit of drink. I was like, what? What is going on? No way. She said, just taste it. So I tasted it. I sipped it, and it to me tastes like straight alcohol from a person that doesn't drink alcohol. But they gulped it down. Then I see them because I'm trying to give them their space. I'm cool. I'm chilling on the sofa, and this little ginger kept coming up to me. Right, so he was a very, very, very nice guy, but I was so not interested because at this point they drinking. I don't even think I can really have a good time. I can't dance. I gotta position myself in a space where I can watch them. I see them at the bar. They buying shots this time. Huh, okay. And she bought two. They bought 2 shots. I was like, what is going on over here? I've never seen her drink, right? Like, what is going on? But she's dancing. And this is what I know. I never saw her drunk, her being my daughter. Neither one of them are drunk. But what I do know, she's a happy drunk. If she gonna get drunk, she gonna be a happy drunk because it was just dancing and laughing. And I was like, okay, so that's good. So what I said, I'm just gonna watch how they maneuver through the evening. Like, I'm gonna be a bystander. And so a real cute guy did come up and talk to them. They had a few guys and they were dancing and stuff like that. And I was going to take notes. And then when it was over, I'm going to go through my notes of things that I witnessed that they could either work on or be aware of. So it was over. They're there. Literally, I'm looking like, so she told everybody, oh, that's my mama. That's my mom, whatever. I felt like I was Secret Service with the Obama girls, like for real. I was so over it. And when they were still there, the DJ is like, whatever, last song, last call, whatever they say. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, we're about to leave. These girls are there until the lights come on. And I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. No. I had to go and get them. Come on, time to go. It's time to go. And he's like, who's that? Oh, that's my mom. Whatever. I was so over it. So once we got finally in the car, I wonder if I'm mixing up my clubs. They were always the last ones to leave. Okay. So we had to have an intervention. You ain't never the last one to leave because you ain't the janitor. Okay. We are not doing that. And I think maybe 2 shots a night are fine, but I think they really push it to 3. And you don't have to talk to every guy to come and talk to you. So, anyways, they had me out every night that they can get out. They went out. It was a far cry from, when your kids are younger and you plan enough events so that you get them tired out by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, so you can have the rest of the evening to yourself. No, these heifers had me out. We was rolling in at 5:30. I don't know if we ever were on vacation and I got home before the sun started to rise. But by club 3, when I say I did not care, I don't care. I didn't care if they got in. I didn't care how I looked. It was long. I was looking a mess. Sneakers, tennis shoes. Okay. I did not care. I was so over it. So we finally get to Paris. We took the Eurostar, another great experience for us. And we're in a club in Paris. I do want to tell you guys about this club. We there was a guy, he was being very I thought a little aggressive. So, I start the night on the dance floor because I love loud music. Whether I'm at home in my car, I just love loud music. So, and they're all kind of hip hop. sort of clubs. So it was fine. We're in a group. We're having fun. It's a bunch. It's like 6 or 7 of us. We're having fun. But he kept touching me, like on my shoulder. It started off, like super soft. Um, but then it was like, I kind of was ignoring it. Then it became like a little more pressure, a little more aggressive, what I thought was aggressive. And and I told him, don't touch me. Don't touch me again. Like, don't. And I think the last time he touched me, it was kind of like more of a pull. It was too much pressure and movement of my arm. And I just went, and I hit him like in his whatever this is over here, his waist or whatever. And he went, and I was like, oh my God. Because I'm like, you're in a different country. You don't know what these laws are. Like, how much time do you get for assaulting somebody? So at that point, I was like, I'm going to get off the dance floor. But I did tell him after I hit him, I told you don't fucking touch me. I was so over it. I went to the bar, started talking to the bartender, we had a good time. And I was positioned that I could see the girls if they were leaving. So I'm sitting at the bar, whatever. Guess who comes out? Kennedy Austin and another girl. Not Kennedy and Austin, Kennedy and Rylan and another girl. And guess who she's with? The aggressive guy who's about to buy her a drink. So I'm like, oh, no, 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 he ain't buying you a drink. So, and I really try to stay out. But I went to the bar and said, what are you doing? He ain't buying you a drink. And then Rylan was like, I told her no. And I was like, listen, this is another lesson. If you are with your girlfriends and they're telling you no, and they're kind of constantly telling some guy to stop touching you just to be cool, you don't let him buy you a drink. You just chose the worst motherfucker in the club. No, you're not buying her a drink. Kennedy, tell him he ain't buying you a drink. And I think she could tell that I was very serious. And I don't know what she told him, because I just walked back to my chair and was sitting down, but watching her kind of at my peripheral. And she leaned over to tell him something, and she came back without her drink. And I was like, he is the worst. He is the worst. She was like, it was a free drink. Okay, I'll buy you a drink. He was the worst guy. And so we had our conversation. She had fun, partied. Beyonce, I want to touch on it, was so good. We saw her in London. I am backtracking. We saw her in London. Baby Blue came out. She did her dance. So we saw her June 1st. And it was so good. There's no opener, but you're Beyonce. I guess you don't even need an opener. I think the concert was about 3 hours. Everybody around us was cool. We had a lot of other Americans there. Um, I don't know if there was a song she didn't sing. Um, I think she was well covered. I just thought it was so, so good. And the night I saw um, Blue Ivy, I don't know why I turned into to Debbie Allen, the famed choreographer. I thought she was good, because keep in mind she's like 10, I think. Um, but I wanted her to hit the like the dance moves a little harder, a little like it ain't rehearsal. Um, so that was my critique. But she's like 10. And if you're trying to talk to anybody, so I'm trying to talk to them about what my critique was. I just wanted Blue Ivy to just hit these moves a little harder. I mean, you would have thought I said the show was shitty. I mean, they just got on me, and I was like, okay, I'm just saying. That's what I thought. Okay. The Debbie Allen in me came out. But I saw clips from later that weekend. And when I say Blue Ivy was hitting them notes, I think Debbie Allen got in contact with Beyonce and was like, girl, you own it, like fame. I really think so. But Blue Ivy is killing it. She's killing those dance moves. And just to watch her on stage with her mother is so sweet. I will say this about European countries: they are very well organized. Very well organized. You feel safe. I feel really safe in London. I think London, if you're looking for some place to move and you want easy transition, you can do it because they speak English. I mean, some words you may be like, wait, what? But it is a gun-free country. The police don't even have guns unless they're in front of the palace or an embassy. So if somebody wants to do you in, it is personal and they got to get real close to you. Okay. But you walk around all night. I think I saw 3 homeless people, but I think they have a program for housing them. Everything was really, really a lot of fun. I did have a racist, it was clearly racist incident in France, Paris, right? London. I don't know. When I tell you my shit is like starting just to merge into one, but I had my first racial incident um in the somewhere in Europe. Okay, so let me tell you, I have been taking so many Ubers. Literally, by this, I've taken over 40 rides while I was gone. By this time, I had already got my notice. Ooh, you have over 35 rides. Do you know what I mean? With 5 stars. Okay, so I texted the guy waiting outside the club, and I can see him on the map because if you use Uber, you can see on the map where the car is. But he was doing like detours. He was like driving away. And what I figured out is he wanted me to cancel the trip because you would still get paid. I wasn't canceling the fucking trip. You gonna come? We gonna figure it out. And I was like, finally, after like 30 minutes, like something is not right. So I texted him through the app, and I was like, "Hey, where are you? Like, what's going on?" No response. About 5 minutes later, I said, if you didn't want the ride, you should have accepted the ride. Just cancel. That was my next one. Nothing for another 10 minutes. And then he tries to call me. And I'm not answering because whatever you want to say to me, I want it to be through this text exchange because other than that, it's just going to be your word against my word. So he called. I didn't answer. And then I told him, hey, text me. No phone, no calling, text. So he texted me, and this is what he said. Sorry, ma'am. I did not see your race before I accepted the ride. And I do not want to pick you up. I am going to take a little break right now. And like I'm gonna take a little break, enjoy the rest of your trip, or enjoy your trip, or enjoy your night. Something to that effect. But he was clear when he said, if I would have seen your race, I wouldn't have accepted the ride. And keep in mind, his name is fucking Mohammed. Okay? His name ain't Tom. It ain't Jerry. His name is Mohammed. So to have a Mohammed telling a Kenya, I don't want to give you a ride, and he can see how good my rating is. I'm an over tipper, right? Because I'm so appreciative of just coming to get me. He decided he wasn't gonna pick me up. And so what I wanted to say was, fuck you, fat ass. But I didn't because he would have been able to hold that against me. So what I found out, but let me tell you the trippy thing. So this happened to me I was in France. That happened to me this evening. Earlier in the evening, they have something called Boost or something. I saw an African woman. I don't know where in Africa she was from, but an African woman with her little daughter, about 6. She goes up to this guy. Wherever Boost is, that's where it was. It's Paris. It is Paris. So she's showing him the app, and you can tell they are in conflict. And he is telling her, I'm not going to take you. I'm not giving you a ride. And she was like, no, no, no. I am your ride. Whatever she's saying in French. I am your ride. And he is clearly, he's not white. He's not a white guy. He is Middle Eastern something. She is, and I've never seen this. So I'm just watching it as I'm waiting on my Uber to pick me up. This is earlier in the evening before I experience my own, like, I'm not coming to get you, figure it out. But they're going back and forth for about 5 minutes. Now, while they're going back and forth, now her daughter is pooping on the street. Okay. But she found a bush, lifting her little dress. I guess you gotta go, you gotta go. So he's going back and forth, back and forth. And I tell my cousin, I was like, I think he is telling her because she is black. And I said, black, he's not going to give her a ride. Like, I don't know what the words were because I don't understand French. But what I can say to you, it was definitely because she was black and she knew it. And I had never seen anything like it. And I wanted to intervene, but I didn't know the language. And I was just like, I can't believe this is happening right now. And then check this out. And then later at 5:15 in the morning, I got Mohammed telling me, figure it out. But I ain't coming, Blackie. Okay. So that is real. Although that is the only race thing I experienced. And I mean, I think that was enough. But when I was reading his message to me about if I would have seen your race, literally I had to read it 3 times. Whereas Kennedy came, now keep in mind, she'd been drinking, but she came behind my shoulder and she was reading it. She was like, what? Race? I mean, she always got her thumb and her fists in the air anyways. So she was all over it. She got it immediately. I literally had to read that message 2, 3 times to really understand he is not picking me up because I am black. So that's it. But he didn't ruin our trip because we had a good time. And Kennedy and I were together so much that at the Eurostar, she got mad at me because this is kind of funny. I got my backpack on. I just put away my water. I am, I've all packed up. Water's been out, so she could have had it. The bottle of water I put away. I got my backpack finally back on. She was like, "Oh, can I have the water?" So I guess I took a breath, like, and then she caught an attitude, like, um, "Oh, if you're gonna breathe, I'll just go buy my own." So she stumps off to go buy her own water. And at that moment, I'm sick of her ass too. So I'm like, well, you figure it out. You just figure it out where to go because they don't tell you until your train is about 9 minutes before your train is coming where your door is going to be. So we didn't know at that point. So I told Robin, tell her, I said, figure it out. Although in my peripheral, I am kind of watching, you know what I mean? And then, so anyways, can you imagine like you're around somebody so much that you can't even stand the way that they breathe? Okay, I just took a breath. I was about to give her the water and she already was on one. And anyways, and so later we were on the train. Let me tell you something. If you're taking Eurostar, you're responsible for all your own luggage. So you got to be mindful. And us idiots rolling all of this luggage on these cobblestone streets looking foolish. We have to get it on a train. So you have to step up. We have to find a way to put it away. It is not worth it. You need one piece of luggage, pack smartly, don't look like us, okay? Fools. And we only wore like 30% of it. 30% of that stuff we wore. But I did tell her once we got on a train, I was like, that was a good performance, but I think you should have been more ha and stomped a foot and then walked off a little more aggressively, and that would have really sold it. But next time you get mad at me for breathing, you or during this trip, you better remember how you got here. But we had so much fun, and what I've learned about clubs is I still don't like clubs. And especially every night. I mean, yeah, I still got it, but I don't want to use it. Um, and I think a club a month, you know what I mean? I do have to go to stuff and that's kind of fun, but I'm just not a club person. And being in that atmosphere, I didn't miss it. I did enjoy the music and it was weird to be with your daughter. So I don't really drink and I really didn't drink because of that. But to watch her having so much fun was great. And to listen to her speak Spanish like every chance and everywhere she got, I know this is crazy. It just really brought tears to my eyes. But I just wanted to share those and I want to share some of our conversations. We had really good conversations about Black Lives Matter. We had really good conversations about um LGBTQIA situations. We had some really, really good conversations that I realized that we're not so different. Um, and our differences are more because of generational stuff. But she is a drinker. And I thought this was going to be her first time drinking. The way she was throwing them back, I mean, at dinner, they was ordering cocktails. It was weird. It was like, it's not my little girl. My little girl's ordering a drink and I got still water with lemon. It was just, so our relationship is changing and I don't know. I just love her and I'm so proud. Like I said, they never got drunk. So I do think they have some experience with drinking and I guess they do know their limits. But it did make me rethink. We were supposed to go into an all-inclusive Cancun Moon Palace, but I don't know. Now with the drinks so free, I don't know. I may have to switch the locations for Christmas. We may be doing something else. But I did. I had a really, really good time, and I have a bunch of reels. I don't know, reels, whatever, gonna come out about it, about the trip. And if you guys aren't traveling, get to traveling. It is the best. Go to London. I loved it. I loved it. I did not stay committed to my um, dresses I had for Paris because I looked at the weather in London. It was hoodie weather, and all my dresses were not hoodie. And then when I get to Paris, it's warm, but it's more south and whatever. The whole trip was a shit show, but we had a really good time, and that's the episode about that trip. Concert was fantastic. If you don't have tickets, get it. Go see Beyonce. I will be there again in August in Atlanta. Can't wait. It was great. No complaints. No complaints. British Airways was fantastic. In fact, we are part of the inaugural London to Cincy nonstop trip. Their first trip. That's us. We will forever be on that manifest. And they were fantastic. So now what I realized on this trip is that, because when you're spending so much time, so it was Kennedy, it was Ryland, it was my cousin Amon, and they are all millennials and younger. So they are very up to um what is appropriate, I guess, and what is not, and how things are changing probably faster than I can keep up. So it really led to some really, really good conversations about, to me, the state of the world, quality of life, LGBT, LGBTQIAs, IA, whatever. We had great conversation about that. And I want to share some of them with me because they really enlightened me on quite a bit. So we were talking about, okay, I'm gonna start with LGBTQIA. So keep in mind, I come from a different generation than they did. Okay. So I was taught differently, whatever. And these are real questions that I have. So if you are watching or listening to this podcast, if you have answers to my questions, hey, feel free to DM me, put them in the comments, whatever, because I do have some real questions. Okay. So, excuse me. Everything I'm going to share it comes out of love and curiosity. All right. So don't be coming at me like I was being mean and hateful, because that's not, that's never me. All right. So okay. So if you are a newsie or you sometimes pop in and out of the news, Demi Lovato, remember um, she's a singer, but she was an actress too. She had switched her pronouns to them and they, but now she has gone back to she and her because she said she got tired of having to explain the them and they. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna tell you why she had to explain it. I bet every time she had to explain it, it was probably to somebody from my generation, somebody old enough to be almost her mother or an older sister or an aunt or something. This is what I think. And you guys tell me. When it comes to them or they, that's a plural word. So I was always taught, everything I've read, it's always had a plural meaning. So I don't think, if people don't understand it or they having a hard time with it, I don't think it's to get back at you or to be disrespectful or to show that they don't care about you. I think grammatically, we just don't get it. That's what I really think. So if you are saying, let's see, Bob, if I'm having a conversation, say we're talking about Bob, okay? Um, and you're referring to Bob as they, right? So you say they went to the store. If you're talking to me, I'm probably gonna say, oh, who did he go with? Like, because if Bob is by himself, he can't be a them or a they because that's a plural word. That's more than one. It throws me off. Okay. If Bob don't, I don't know. I'm just saying with the them and they, for me, I have to really think about it. If you're trying to talk to me in a singular situation, it just doesn't, it takes me longer to think about what I want to say if I'm using those pronouns, and because they don't naturally, grammatically make sense if I'm talking about one person. So I think you guys need to be a little more empathetic about what time, what generation, whoever you are talking to, or you're having a hard time conveying the them and they, just kind of explain it to them that we're not using it the way you guys were taught it. Like we've totally changed it. We've changed them and they to you. You know how you can be singular or plural? So you just have to, give us some grace. And I think I love I love what millennials and Gen Xers, Gen Zers, or whatever y'all are. I love what you guys are fighting for. I love the fact that you out there fighting. But remember, we were there too. So fighting, maybe some of our roles have changed. Maybe you guys have taken the torch when it comes to the frontline fighting. But I think our role has changed in that we're still leadershiping sometimes, but I think we're really financing. And maybe that is what our role has changed into: finance and support. Tell me what you need. You know what I mean? You're on the front line. Tell me what you need, and I can help you find it or get it. But when it comes to them and they, and just some things, I think some things you just have to show us, anybody that's 40 and older, I think you need to show us just a little grace and don't take everything so personally. We, we got to get used to them and they is the new you. Okay. And it's kind of difficult. It really is. So that's one thing we talked about when it comes to LGBTQ. And then my other thing is, I think that you guys, they or you guys, them, they, I don't even know what's plural now, but whatever. I think that I'm not sure, why did you guys get a new flag? That's just a curious question, because you guys already had the gay pride flag, which had the rainbow and I thought encompassed everyone. So I don't know why there's a new flag. I mean, at some point you have to cut it off. I mean, like, just for real, because you cannot. I don't know if you keep adding things because new you guys keep taking new people into the fold, like asexuals. Um, Okay, so this is a part of the show where I may not know what I'm talking about. I think a asexual is a person that like doesn't really need sex or not interested in sex. But do not quote me on that. I don't know. But I thought asexual is kind of like take it or leave it. So look that up before you go share that part of the story. But I think they now are under that LGBTQIA, right? Is A for asexuals? Yeah. Lesbian, gay, trans. B is bi, trans. I don't know what I is, and I think A is asexuals. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. So, like I said, this is the part of the show that I could be don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Okay. So, I don't know what they all stand for, but I think we can cut it off there, and I don't think you need to keep adding letters. I think that is confusing, but I think you have really encompassed a large group of people, which you like, hooray. Like, I think that's fantastic. So I think we have to look into the flag situation, like how many more stripes or whatever you guys going to, how many more can you add to the flag? The flag is going to get teeny tiny like that, but you're going to have a million colors on it. Um, and then the other thing, this is a real question. When it comes to cis female or cis male that you guys have made, I'm not sure. This is coming from a heterosexual female. I'm really curious. Like, why do we need you to make up a word for cis male or female when we already have heterosexual female or heterosexual male? Like, why can't I don't know if we as heterosexuals thought we needed a new word. And I'm not sure why you guys even felt a need to create a new word for us. I think we were fine with heterosexual. And I'm speaking only for me. Maybe the heterosexual community was like, we need a new fucking word too. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure why you felt a need to rename us or to give us a different name. And why can't a cis female just be a heterosexual female? Is there some sort of difference? And then I think the same grace that you as heterosexuals for or people outside of the community, y'all need to show grace too. Like, all this is very new to some of us. Like, some of the terms and um we have questions too, and everybody's afraid to ask questions because you don't want to piss somebody off. So those are my real questions, and I want somebody to. I don't want to be walking around here stupid. So I want you to tell me why there was a need to create cis female cis male when we already had a word that worked for us? Like, why do that? That's a real question. I want to know, what is the plan with the flag? And I want to know, do asexuals relate, or are they closer to LGBTQIAs, or are they closer to still being, I don't know, heterosexuals? Okay. That one may be kind of, I don't know if I asked that right, but I just want to know, why did you take the asexuals? I would have just left them over with the heterosexuals, honestly. But how does that relate to being gay or trans or bi or I don't know, whatever else? We had that conversation. I had a third one. The name, the flag, the they and them was the other one. So I don't know if that's really a question. I understand it is what it is, and that's what you guys want to be called. I think that was more of just understand it. It's a generational thing. I don't think it's a disrespect thing, at least not on my part. I don't know everybody's part, but so just show us a little grace, please. Um, the only other thing, okay, so that was our LGBTQIA conversation. Oh, if you know what I is, put it in the comments or DM me or something, because I don't know what the I is. And yeah, okay. So so that was one thing we talked about, and they had some very pretty strong stance, especially on the theys and the thems. Okay, now we had another conversation about Black Lives Matter, which Black Lives Matter. I'm totally a proponent of, but that conversation, oh, in terms of our roles and how I think generationally, we are still supportive. Like people like 40, 45 and older, we are still supportive. We still will march with you. But in terms, I don't know, well, you do have some that are like frontline. For me, I don't need to be frontline, but you tell me what you need. You tell me how much you need, and I'm gonna be supportive. You tell me when you want me to be there to march, but I'm not necessarily saying I want to lead the pack. But sometimes you need a soldier instead. You don't need a leader. So I think that is where my transition is, has come to, not so much a leader of the movement, but more of a supporter. Um, so that's how it started. We really started talking about Black Lives Matter, and they had some really, really good points. I was really proud of my cousin Amon, who is actually in London studying slave trade, or I don't know, but they're more know the ins and outs. I don't even really know from what my experiences, right? Okay, so that led to, I asked them, that led to conversations about policing, and we had really good conversations about that. And everybody in that generation is like, no, 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 no to the police. That was never my experience, and I honestly don't think all police are bad. I'm sorry to say it. No, I'm not sorry to say it. Every interaction what I had with the police has always been positive, whether it was a flat tire, whether it's my car stopped in the middle of the night. They made sure I got to wherever I was going safely. Sometimes they have let me off for speeding, just kind of gave me a warning. I've never felt threatened. Now, I would not just be calling the police. You know what I mean? Like, that's not my first go to. But I did ask them, if you were robbed, would you call the police? And it was really interesting to hear their responses, because my response was yes. Yes, I would. With a good description. And yeah, I would. But I think, and then I had to check myself. And I don't think that's wrong to say, yeah, I will call the police, because this is what I think is happening. I think good people are experiencing empathy fatigue on crime, robbery, break ins, theft, murders, killings. I think we we're over it. If you're like 40 and over it, and you always been a decent person, you've always worked hard. I don't know whether it was a 9 to 5 or maybe you're a professional athlete, maybe whatever. If you've always been a decent person, you are probably over crime. You're over the car break-ins. You're over the home invasions. You're over not being able to wear your real jewelry or jewelry at all. Not being able to carry the handbag you want to carry. You're probably over it. And when I say I do think people are over it, I'm telling y'all, I think victims are over being victimized. I think that's why you're hearing about a lot of these store owners shooting back and killing. I think now we're even starting to hear a lot about these home invasions, shooting and killing, these robberies, shooting and killing. I just think people are tired of being not taken advantage of, but just victimized. And I think if I were robbed, I would definitely call the police. And that's just what it is. I would. And they had different, maybe different answers. People had different answers and all that. And I also had to tell a story. When my son was younger, he was still over 18. He got a DUI. Okay. Now, could they had, and I lived in an all white community, all white. They could have taken, he wasn't like sloppy drunk or whatever, but he was almost home and he was driving. And so he, like you know, he, they stopped him and they brought him home. And he's black. He looked black, he's black, okay? And they brought him home to his mother, okay? Where he was almost home anyways. So I was grateful. Could they have taken him to jail? Yeah, they could have. And I'm not saying all police are good or all police are bad. I'm just saying I don't have a problem with the police. And if there was something happened to me, I would call the police. Okay? Robbery, whatever, I will call police. But it's also because I've worked hard. I have really worked hard. I've watched other people work hard. And it's not like we're like, I mean, I think, if somebody, when I see people stealing out of the grocery stores, no. But I do get tired of seeing them steal out of grocery stores, especially if they're not stealing like food and diapers and formula. If they stealing liquor and all the steak, so now I can't even make a steak. I I kind of have a problem. But I do not call police. But it does not. I'm not happy to see that. Okay, I'm over it. So I just think y'all better be careful and realize that people are getting tired of not being able to enjoy their life. Like the lake, to roam freely in Oakland. In Oakland, people are literally keeping their windows rolled down so people won't burst the window to try to get into a car that don't even got shit in it because they already know y'all gonna break into it. You can't walk around a lake at certain times. You can't. Lakeshore used to be like this real popular street or whatever. I mean, they're bringing into cars on Lakeshore during the day. It ain't even like a nighttime thing. And I just think the quality of life that people feel like they've worked hard and they deserve in some places they're not able to have. And I don't know. I just think people are getting tired. I just think people are getting real, real tired. And I think they're fighting back, they're shooting back, and I don't think they're feeling bad about it, or thinking twice about it. So I'm just saying that I think a lot of conversations need to be had. I don't know what the answer is. Um, and all my thought are just coming about from my experiences. I never experienced this even when I was younger. If there was violence in Oakland, usually it was between drug dudes or gangs. I just don't remember, but that was my little world. So maybe there was all this shit happening outside of my little bubble, and it's always been like it is. I just I don't remember ever having to keep windows down to a car. I don't remember ever not being able to wear your real diamonds, your furs, your pocketbooks, or purses. I don't ever remember that. Ever. And we had a ton of money coming out of Oakland, whether it was drug dealers, whether it was athletes at the time when I was coming up. I just don't remember ever having to live or change the way you want to live like we have now, especially in the Bay. Um, so we did, that was a really good conversation, and and they had some really good points. I think Amon, who is almost 30, if not 30, I think he was much more gracious and understanding than Kennedy, who was not trying to hear it. Okay. She is super smart. She's a fighter for the people, but I'm not sure she is the most gracious. And I'm not sure she is the one willing to hear another side, just to tell you the truth. But, she felt how she felt. And we ended it on we agree to disagree. Okay. As she lives her life, as her mother funds her life. Okay. So, but yeah, so I don't know. So that was one of the conversations. I think we had another conversation. We had many conversations, but three really stuck out. And I think those were the two that I can think of right now. And if you guys have some insight or want to share some of your thoughts about any of those, do it. I would love to read them because I don't know it all. And I like to listen. And unlike Kennedy, I can respect and and listen to someone else's point of view, whether I agree with it or not. So I am excited to see your feedback. And like I said, I think it's more generational than at the core we are different. Just our experiences. Now everybody 40, 45 and older, they shouldn't be worried about shit. They should just be living life in their diamonds, in their bags, with the windows rolled up, in they super nice cars if you got it, or if you don't got it, whatever. You should just be able to live the life you want to live. You've worked hard, you stayed out of trouble. Like, what the fuck? That's how I feel about it. So thank you guys so much. I'm gonna leave it on that. I know I left it kind of deep, but really think about what I've said. And if you have a comment, please leave it. You don't have to agree with me, but I am curious about the conversation, which I love to have. And then I put out some real questions for you, so if you have answers, please let me know too, so when I am in conversation, I'm saying the right shit. So first of all, please make sure you let me know what I means in LGBTQIA. I don't know. And even let me know if A is for asexuals. That's what I thought since you added them into the fold, but I could be even wrong about that. So all right. I am glad to be back and I missed you guys. And I think that's about it for this episode. I've talked you to death. So, this episode of London Lushes Beyonce has concluded. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.